Jed Porter up to say something. Thank you very much for coming, Jed.
Thank you, everybody. Now, I've been carefully not only listening but watching speakers, because I'm thinking this microphone is balanced very precariously, and if it's going to go, it's going to go on me. So there we go. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm honoured to be invited here today to the Celebration of Lived Experience event, but I honestly feel the speech I've got prepared does not fit or come anywhere close to what we've heard today. There's been some tremendous speeches, so I'm going to probably deviate a bit and speak from the heart, if that's okay with you. The theme of this event has been to highlight the importance of sharing our lived experiences, and by doing so, we deepen our understanding of one another and build a foundation of mutual respect and support. In my speech accepting the mayorship of Derby, I said that respect, faith and inclusiveness would be the ingredients of my 12 months. Now, some of you might not know that I was a former police detective working in national organisations to combat serious and organised crime. And a lot of it was to do with drugs and how drugs had ruined people's lives. And then one day, as Deputy Mayor, I was at an event at the Moorways. I'm quite old and it still will be the municipal to me, but it's Moorways. I was at this event, as I say, as Deputy Mayor, and there was a young man looking after us at our party. And he asked me, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I told him I was Deputy Mayor and we were doing an event. And he says, "Well, I'm looking after you." And he told me that he had gone through Jericho House. And his life was put back together, and not only was he qualified now, but he was seeking other qualifications. And I thought to myself, this Jericho House, I've got to find out more about him. And of course, my good friend, Alan Graves, as the mayor at that time, he was supporting Jericho House. And so that little interaction made me think, all those years we've been doing the fight against drugs, but is there something more to this than legislation? And there is. Now, listening to your talks and your speeches today, the thing that flashed through my mind, and whether I'm right or wrong, was that you are a band of brothers. You have come through a terrible story, but you've come through it and you are now a band of brothers. And that is really, really important. So, what do you want to hear from me? Well, I've had a meeting at Jericho House, and we've sat down and we've decided that we are going to try our best to have monthly meetings to look at how we get stakeholders, to look at how we get funding, to look at how we get people involved who can give us the skills that make Jericho House even better. And that's what we intend to do. Together with Councillor Alan Graves, we will sit down on a monthly basis, talk to Neil, talk to the management, and see how we can put our story out there. I say our story, I know I've not had an addiction, but 15 years ago I was told, after being a fit man, going to the gym, thinking I looked after myself, I was told I was diabetic. And it shook me to my core. I went to see the GP and said, "What does this mean?" And she said, "Don't worry, we've got plenty of," and I always remember this, she said, "We've got plenty of drugs in the cabinet to keep you well." And I said, "I don't want drugs. I want to cure this. I don't want to be a diabetic." And she said, "I'm sorry, but once you're a diabetic, you're always a diabetic." So I didn't know what to do, really. As I said, it shook me to my core. Then I met another diabetic, and we chatted about things, and he introduced me to the low-carb diet. And as a result of that, we have now got our own self-help blood sugar improvement group, and we are taking people out of being a diabetic, and they are improving their lives. Now, I found the NHS, God bless them, put you in a box, and that's the problem. They're very good at treating the symptoms, but not the cause. And I found if I took bread, potatoes, and rice out of my diet, then my blood sugars would improve naturally. Yes, I still take a wee bit of medication, but I've never had to go on insulin. So that to me is a shock. I have to monitor my life. I have to look at what's good for me, what's not good for me. So for what you guys have done is tremendous, because I know the importance of looking after yourself. And as I say, with Jericho House doing that, you can move onwards and you can move upwards. And Alan and myself intend to make sure that happens. We will do our very best to help you and Jericho House. So thank you very much.